Okay, here we go. I am Lucy Gray. Hi, everyone. And I am working with the Charter on different education initiatives. We're really excited about an upcoming event and are so happy to have you um, be a part of it potentially as a participant, as a presenter, as a sponsor. We are calling it the Compassionate Action Conference, and the theme is Transforming the World Together. It's taking place on May 14th and 15th, and it will be completely online in a platform called Ring Central Events. And this webinar is an opportunity for us to tell you a little bit about the charter if you're not familiar with it. And so I'm going to ask Marilyn to jump in on the first few slides, and then we'll get into the details about how you can present and share your work. So that's our plan for today. The slides, I put the link in the chat and I will do it again periodically throughout the webinar. And you can save that link and look at it afterwards for future reference. There are also some links to um, the call for proposals and that sort of thing that are at the end of this uh, slide deck, and you can click on them and visit those at your leisure as well. So, so here we go. If you want to introduce yourself in the chat and tell us who you are, where you're from, and what your interest in is in the conference, we'd love to hear from you and get to know you if we don't know you already. We're so thrilled to have you here. So we'll go over this overview of the charter. We'll talk about the conference, and then we'll take any questions and answers from you as we move towards the end of our hour together. So if you're not familiar with the charter, Marilyn, do you want to jump in and talk
Yeah,
a little bit
I'll
about this?
I'll talk a little bit, and I'm thinking that Felipe is going to let people into the room because they still are coming. Um, as many of you know, the start of the charter was with Karen Armstrong, who's a historian, a theological historian from the UK. She won the first TED Prize, monetary awarded TED Prize, and the charter was launched at the UN in 2009. But we didn't really get our big start until we became our own 501c3 back in 2014, April of 2014. Since that time, we've really concentrated on two big goals. The one goal is to help communities around the world at the grassroots level, people who are concerned to come together to look at how is it that they can make their community a compassionate initiative or compassionate community. And we don't have a good housekeeping seal of approval or some type of award like that, but it's up to people themselves as they come together to generate issues that are of grave concern to them in their community. And then the second area or the second mission that we have is to try and offer compassionate training at all levels to support the grassroots group of people, the citizens who are involved in the Charter for Compassion. And that means that we do not necessarily create our own programs as much as we work in tandem with groups who have wonderful programs that we can help introduce into communities from preschool down to high school and colleges, universities, and the community at large. There's a copy of the charter. All of this information that we're sharing, we will make available to you as a slide deck, I think. And also, all of it is located on our website. So that's the charter there. You'll find it in 30 some languages translated. I know there are people from all over the world who signed up for today. And one of the things is that we have close to 3,000 partners. And that's a lot of folk. Many people think of the Charter for Compassion as maybe just US based. That's not necessarily true at all. Our membership is from over 190 countries, but our compassionate initiatives are in 55 countries in the world. We're heading towards almost 600 initiatives, and we're heading towards 3,000 partners. And I'm hoping that many of you who are on this call are partners. And, as we offer all of the things that we offer in any one given month, we've come to realize that we need to have a vehicle where the people who are intimately involved with the charter, either as signing the charter or an organization that's really working very closely with our own mission and concerns, get to know one another in a different way. We've had a lot of success recently in bringing together some of our sectors for monthly conversation where people come together and just get to know one another and talk about their areas of expertise, their areas of concern and interest. We've been doing it for over a year now in healthcare. We're starting tomorrow in the education sector. Our social justice sector has been doing this also. But we thought, why not try and move forward with a whole worldwide look at introducing the charter to one another? So there's where we are. Okay.
So I think the other thing I would add to Marilyn's comments is that now more than ever, we need to work across borders to solve global problems and to spread the word about compassion. And we hope that this event will be a cross-sector event where people from all different sectors will share their work and we can learn from each other, and then other relationships and partnerships can develop. I think it's really difficult for people to do this kind of work in isolation, and it becomes more powerful when you're connected for other people. So our hope and dream here with this project, with this particular event, is to uh, bring everybody together so that we can learn from each other and have an impact on spreading the good word of compassion.
Lucy, I just want to say one other thing,
Yeah.
just to help to people who might be located in other places in the world. Our staff, for example, is in Chile, in Mexico, in India, in the United States, but our board of directors, who are really very much involved in the work that we do, are in South Africa, Zimbabwe, also in India, Pakistan, and other countries of the world. So we're really very, very global in our personnel and how we can reach out to you in your own time zones.
So let's keep going here. So the other thing I wanted to mention too, we also have a lot of volunteers who are helping, who are present today. So if you're a volunteer, you can wave. And they're also from around the world too. So it's pretty exciting when we all get together and can learn from each other. So let's talk a little bit about the conference. It's going to happen online on May 14th and 15th. Anyone is welcome to present. You can be a youth, you can be not a youth, you can be a partner or not a partner. But anyone who's doing some work related to the themes I'm going to show you are invited to showcase their work. We want all different kinds of people to come together and see what kind of synergy will happen. So these are the details. It's going to be May 14th and 15th. Um, the 2 days of live sessions will be mostly in US time zones. We're going to start at noon Central Time I'm in Chicago, on the 14th, and then we'll go into the evening. And then there'll be asynchronous or recorded sessions during US nighttime hours. And then we're starting very early in the morning on the 15th to accommodate some people in other time zones with live sessions, and we'll go all day with live sessions. The recorded sessions will be available for a limited amount of time for free ticket holders and for a year for people who are paid ticket holders. And we'll get to that in a minute. So it's difficult to work across time zones. As if any of you are doing global work, you know how it is in terms of trying to plan a meeting and making sure that you're aware of the time in your friends' neck of the woods. We meet early in the morning, or very early for Maryland on the West Coast, when our staff meets. But it works with our colleague in New Delhi and Chile and that sort of thing. So we're trying to arrange it so that there should be a fairly convenient period of time for everyone to present. And if something is not convenient, you can always do your presentation, record your presentation, and upload it, and we'll put it in the conference as an asynchronous recorded session. And some people may feel more comfortable doing that too. In general, they may want to do a presentation and just get it over and done with and not have a live audience, and that's totally fine. The other thing that I will recommend here as well is that this is a global effort. And so to get the word out about this, we really need everyone in our community and those new and established community members to help us get the word out about the call for proposals and about attending. It's really great when our presenters can have a live audience in front of them, and so we can have up to 1,000 people attend this conference, and we need your help in publicizing that. And we can talk about that at the end of the webinar as well. So we really want this to be flexible. You can jump in when you can, however you can. You can use a mobile device to get onto Ring Central or your computer or tablet. It's really a great platform. I've run several conferences on global education using this and feel like it's a pretty good experience for most people. So here we go. Keep going here. So the goals are to share the mission of the Charter for Compassion and to inspire others to join this movement. We want to foster collaboration between individuals and organizations. We want to encourage other groups to adopt some of the principles and ethics behind the Charter for Compassion. And we want to provide actionable, practical ideas for organizations and individuals to grow in this kind of work. So those are the four main goals about bringing this together. We have 7 themes to the conference that are based on our existing sectors. Those sectors are going to be changing with the charter in the next few months a little bit. But for the time being, these are kind of the main themes or sectors that are doing work under the umbrella of the charter: compassion and empathy, interconnectedness, justice and equality, environmental stewardship, personal and community transformation, lifelong learning, and resources for compassionate organizations is an extra thing that we've added for practical advice for organizations who are doing this work. So, when you fill out a proposal, if you're considering that, you'll choose one of these themes to be associated with. It'll be a conference strand. And I've put into the slide, there's a lot of text here, I know, but you'll get a copy of this. Some examples of the topics that we're looking for. And it's not limited to these topics, it's just some suggestions. So, for example, on the compassion and empathy theme, we're looking for presentations on emotional intelligence, empathy driven leadership, storytelling for social change, strategies for cultivating compassionate communities, etc. So it's not limited to that. You can present on anything that's related to your work on compassion and empathy. Again, with justice and equality, we want anything that's related to social justice, restorative justice practices, equity in education and healthcare, advocacy strategies, global movements for human rights. Those are just some example topics here to kind of inspire your thinking about what you could present on or what might be of interest to you if you're just going to attend. So these are the themes that you'll select one of them to be associated with when you start the call for proposals process. And I keep on clicking on this thinking it's going to change and it doesn't. I need to use my arrows on my keyboard. These are some other examples of session titles that you could adopt or iterate on. So again, for compassion, empathy, the science of empathy, how compassion rewires the brain. If you're interested in the science of compassion, we'd love to have some proposals like that. Under interconnectedness and social responsibility, fostering global citizenship for a more connected world is another topic. There's a whole long list of suggested topics here, and I'm not going to go through it or expect you to read it right now. But when you look at the slides at your leisure, you'll be able to get some ideas, and hopefully this will inspire you to think about what you could contribute to this monumental event. So, why should people attend? Well, the first thing is you're going to have access to global leaders, people who are doing this work, who are um, trying to change the world for the better. And as one person said at one of my conferences, it's almost like being at one of my global conferences, we had an educator named Howard Gardner speak. And one of the pieces of feedback we had was it was like being in a front row seat at a physical conference, listening to Howard, because it's many people cannot necessarily travel for physical conferences due to cost, due to where they live, whatever it is. There's barriers to attending face-to-face conferences. But with a virtual conference, you get access to really splendid people who can inspire you and help you with your work. And so we want this to be an opportunity for people to have access to experts, and that's not necessarily experts, but people who are doing interesting things and having the opportunity to converse with them. There'll be great opportunities for networking within the conference. There is a tool called speed networking where you can do little virtual meetings. There's a meeting platform where you can invite people to meetings right on Ring Central events. And there's also the ability to message people within the platform. And so it's a great way to network with people and grow your professional learning um, network. Again, it's really flexible how you participate with live sessions, recorded sessions, using our speed networking tool, or hosting meetings. We really want people to take advantage of the formal and the informal aspects of Ring Central events. Who should attend? We want everybody to attend. We want educators, youth, volunteers, funders, consultants who work with nonprofits, community organizers, organization leaders, business leaders. Anyone is welcome to attend, but these are the people that we're really looking for. We want to have this kind of cross pollination between different groups of people so that we can all learn from each other. So please spread the word to those people that you know. In terms of admission, we want this to be accessible to people. We do also the Charter for Compassion also survives on the donations of wonderful people out there. And so there is also a paid tier for people who want to support these efforts. There are costs involved with running a virtual conference. And our ticket levels look like this. For the 2 days of the live conference, there is a free ticket that will be available. A certain amount will be available to people. Um, but the access to recordings will not be available to them and to some of the networking tools. For the basic ticket and above, there'll be access to the live and recorded sessions, networking tools, and a certificate of participation will be made available to those people as well. If you want to support the conference at a higher level, we also offer opportunities for recognition. And then also at the advocate level, we're going to offer some up close and personal time with some of our keynote speakers. So this is our ticket level set of how we want to make this accessible to everyone. And so registration is open right now, and you can register on the charter site and contribute if you have the means to do so. The kinds of sessions you're going to see at this conference include keynote speakers to be announced, general sessions from everyone that are 50-minute live sessions. There's also the opportunity to give lightning talks, which are 15-minute short talks on a topic. If you want to do, for example, lightning talks might be a particularly good one for people who just want to highlight their organization and talk about the work that they do. And then panels are the next one. If you want to organize a panel of speakers, we'd love to have that as a session. So if you have a group of people that you know are working on a particular topic, propose a session that includes all of them. You can have up to 6 people on a panel. Probably more, we could probably arrange that, but in the call for proposals, it lists there's space for 6. And then, so here's what the call for proposals looks like. It is open from now until April 15th. We accept them on a rolling basis starting March 15th. And the sooner you submit your proposal, the sooner you can book the time for your session. Once you've submitted your proposal, I will send you an email that has the next steps in it, including booking your own time. We don't do the scheduling. You pick a time from the available times to present so that we don't have to go back and forth over, when you're presenting. You pick the time that works for you on the 14th and 15th. There are a limited amount of slots, so the sooner you get your proposal in, the quicker you'll have access to the bookings system that we have set up. Okay. So anyone, individuals, organizations, thought leaders who are passionate about, compassion driven change are welcome to present. And we're looking forward to seeing these things. Why would you want to present here? You get complimentary paid admission for the supporter level ticket, or I think it's a supporter level, whatever the basic ticket level is. You are influencing a movement towards compassion, and you have a global platform to share your work with people outside of your geographical area. And that can be really powerful. And I've seen it with educators, how excited they get um, when they are able to connect with other people around the world. And I hope that here you'll have the experience the same kind of excitement as well. So here are kind of the key things you need to know about the proposal process. We use a tool called JotForm for submitting the proposal, and I will show you where that is in a little bit. The deadline for proposals is April 15th. Again, we're going to be accepting presentations starting March 15th on a rolling basis. We'll do it continually. You can submit more than one proposal if you'd like to. That would be awesome if you did. And if you want to present in a language other than English, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Just be aware that the majority of people probably attending are going to be English speakers. So you may have a limited audience if you're speaking entirely in your own language. We've had people also do dual language presentations before at my global ed conferences. One person is, two people are presenting and one is presenting the English and then the other is presenting the Spanish. So you can be creative with that if you'd like to. So the proposal form is translatable. There is a pull down menu in it where you can see the basic part of the call for proposals in different languages, if that will also support your efforts. So those are some of the guidelines and key details. Organizations, we really want organizations to get involved as well. We'd like to see multiple presentations from our partner organizations. We want you to be able to highlight your work so that others are aware of it. And I think that's even more important in this day and age when we're experiencing so much uncertainty in the nonprofit world, the NGO world. And so, this is a way to kind of get the word out and do some networking so that perhaps serendipity will happen and good things will happen to your organization. We also, again, to my point is, I think that we can no longer exist in isolation in terms of our work. We have to be connecting to others and learning from others and finding opportunities to be partnering together. And so this is a way, a platform and an event where you can explore those potential collaborations. Here's how organizations can participate. If you are a sponsor, you can have an expo booth. We'll have dedicated expo time in our schedule where people can go to the virtual booths and learn more about your work. Pay ticket holders can host meetings on the platform for, I think, up to 20 people in one of the meeting rooms. You can serve as a media partner, which is no cost, and we put your name and logo on our website, and you help get the word out to your networks. And then, of course, you can present your work, and the other way that you can support us is by sponsoring the conference if it's something within your means. So these are the 5 ways that we envision organizations getting involved in this collaborative effort. This is the sponsorship information right here and the benefits for it. Sponsors get featured sessions, which means that they are on stage. We have various stages, which are kind of different than session rooms and a little bit more visible. And so people who are sponsoring, organizations that are sponsoring the conference will have visibility on these stages as part of their package. Um, and then, if you want to be a founding member and, because this is our initial conference, we would really love you to do that if it's possible. We also appreciate in-kind sponsorships. If there's some sort of service or something that you can donate to us, we would grateful for any kinds of suggestions. So the next step here is for people to register, to submit proposals, and to think about sponsorship and media partnership. Again, we'd love people just to be media partners and get the word out. From your organization, we'll put your logo and your link on our website, and you don't have to pay for the media. The media partnership thing is a free thing. The other thing I'm going to show you in a minute, and I think we'll come back to this, is we're using Jotform for these different links here, and it's kind of like Google Forms on steroids. If you've ever seen Google Forms, it's kind of like a survey tool, and Jotform is very similar. It's really versatile, and they have this new thing that's kind of wild. It is they have artificial intelligence agents. And no, that just sounds like a spy or something, but no, it is actually a bot where you can ask questions of that bot. And so I've trained two of these agents on our materials, and they will guide you through the partnership and sponsorship information, and another one will guide you through the call for proposals. It's crazy. When you try it, you'll laugh. And you can either do it through voice or you can do it through typing. I had a lot of fun trying it out. And it's not really a human, just to make sure you guys know that. But I do get a record of your questions and that sort of thing. So I can always come back and answer them personally. And maybe I'll show you that at the very, very end. So here's the next steps. Register. We would love you at the very least to attend. Um, and you'll get, you'll be joined in our community, and we want you to actively participate in the sessions. Uh, the sessions are kind of like, we have stages, which are kind of like I don't know, there's a chat for the people who are participating, and there's a stage that's more front facing where somebody's presenting. It's more of a presentation mode kind of space. And then we have session rooms, which are more like a Zoom room, like a Zoom meeting room. They're a little bit more collaborative and lend itself to interactions between the audience and the presenter. So there's lots of opportunities in those rooms to talk and share ideas and links and resources. Think about this. Think of this as like one big giant Zoom fest um, across 2 days in a lot of way, in some ways. And then let's see. There are some links in the slides here for you to register, submit a proposal, sign up to be a sponsor or media partner. And there's also a document with really detailed conference information that you're welcome to read if you're not completely overwhelmed yet. So without further ado, I thought we'd do some questions, and then I can show you the bots and the documents and that sort of thing if you want. Marilyn, is there anything that you want to add right now? I'm going to stop sharing for a second and see how we're doing.
Well, I think we're doing well. I've tried to keep up with the chat and respond to people who might have had questions. I understand that we are 50-50 audience, people who might never have done anything with the charter,
Mm,
and people who really have been with us for quite a few years, which always makes it difficult to answer and to make certain that we're filling in all the blanks for you. So I think it's a great time for you to ask questions of us. And one of the things I think that's so important is to bring your own community to this.
mm,
You know, Lucy mentioned that this is a time where we really do need one another. We need each other's presence, perspective, and we need to really understand what collaboration is all about. And I know that each time I go to something like this, I find new and interesting people. And I dare say that there are a number of people on this call that I made my first acquaintance with in an event that's very similar to what's happening or what we're hoping to happen in May. So let's see what questions you might have. Just use, if you can, the little device that's part of Zoom. If you go down to React and click on the heart there, you'll find you can raise your hand and we'll recognize your hand.
I see one in the chat from Kate. And what's the difference between a supporter ticket and a supporter besides the amount? So the supporter ticket for admission is it's really for individuals who want to support the organization and attend the conference. The rate for sponsorship is more for organizations who want to sponsor and have their name and logo on the website and have a featured session. So that's really the difference.
I think I might just want to also add here, um, you know, for people who were around last October and were able to participate in our Youth Strategy Global Strategy Conference, we use the same platform, Ring Central. So we got really positive reviews on the use of the platform and the effectiveness of the platform. It is really good. It's the best thing that I think we've experienced, but it's also a very costly mechanism, and that's why we are seeking some help. I mean, we're talking multiple thousands of dollars to run or have ownership of this platform for 1 year. So we want to take big advantage of it. And also use the opportunity of sharing this whole conference mechanism with you as well. I see Nancy's hands up.
And
Nancy?
the youth conference is going to be held again this year. I think it's October 17th and 18th, somewhere around there.
And
Uh,
17.
yeah. So we're excited about that, and hopefully we'll do more events as well. But it's worked really well for us. Nancy, you had a question?
Yes, I have actually two regarding the
Okay.
sessions.
Yeah.
On the 50-minute session, can that be a blend? Can you do a recorded portion
It's
of it
you
and
can you
then,
can you can show a video in it. So if you have like a video on YouTube, you could show that for part of it, but it's not possible to do like uh have something go automatically that's a video.
okay, thank you. And
Yeah.
then also on the panel discussions, did you say how long the time slot is for those?
Those would be general sessions. So 50
50
minutes. Yeah.
minutes also?
So
Okay,
we tend to do 50-minute sessions in overall with a 10-minute break in between. So people have time to get from one session to another or take a break or whatever. And also sometimes people go over. So we want to make sure that there's enough of a gap for people to
sure,
kind of get where they need to go.
sure,
So and I see Anne's comment about civic engagement, that sort of thing. We could probably add more language to the call for proposals and the examples around this. And I agree, Anne, this is really crucial. Um, so I would hope that you would be able to fit something under one of the categories. I don't know. I think there's some logical places where that could fit, but we could definitely add more language to it for sure.
Catherine has her hand up.
Yeah. Catherine?
I
Or I
see,
don't
I see you're trying to turn on
unmute.
my.
There we go. Now I got it. Sorry.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
I'm working on my cell phone because
Okay.
this is my day off and I'm all over the place today.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi. So, two questions because I'm thinking of two different areas where it might
Yeah.
be interesting. And one is my particular specialty is the psychophysiology of compassion and how that impacts our health. And
Love it.
so I typically work in medicine. And so that's where I do my thing personally, and I would
Uh-huh.
love to share that information
That's
with
perfect.
with whoever wants to listen, but I didn't see like medical on the list, so I was curious.
So the other thing too, when you go through the call for proposals, there are going
Mhm.
to be tags that you
Okay,
can choose, like 3 or 4 tags that you can choose that are related to your presentation. And so
okay,
that people will be able to filter sessions in those schedule by those tags and keywords.
right
So
on.
they can search for it. So
Okay,
that's a perfect topic.
okay.
And maybe it would go under compassion and empathy, you know.
Yeah,
Those
okay.
umbrellas are meant to be kind of large,
Broad.
those themes, really broad.
Okay. And
Okay.
then the second thing is I happen to be a producer working on a documentary on compassion right now.
Oh,
And it's Compassion Heals. And again, we're talking about the medical community. And I think that, like the director and the executive producer and a couple of people that we have who are talking about trauma informed care with
yeah.
compassion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, would make a great panel.
Yes.
Would
Yes.
that, okay, then
We'd
that's,
love that. I'm
yes,
a big fan of the trauma informed stuff. A friend of mine's husband did a documentary called Resilience.
yes.
Have you seen that? A number of years ago, he passed away fairly recently,
Oh,
and
I did not know.
it was very funny because I read about it in the Guardian like years ago, and
Uh-huh.
I realized it was my friend's husband, and I said, "Can you get me? Where can I see this?" And they were screening it in Chicago, really close to that time, and I was able to see it. And Nadine Burke Harris was really featured in that from the state of California, who was the health commissioner and works with children on this. And for me personally, it meant a lot because I felt like my childhood had been, I'd been affected by a lot of these things in the ACEs study. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to see trauma informed stuff. I think it's so
Yeah.
important.
Cool. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
I'm
We're glad to have you here.
Thank
gonna
you.
just
Happy to be
invite
here.
you, Catherine, the first Friday of every month at 8:30 Pacific time. We have our healthcare, we call it chat. It's called the Kitchen Chat. I think you should join us, and maybe Merida could put in the group chat the link for that. First Friday of every month.
Yeah.
You'd really enjoy the
Oh,
people.
thank you so much. That's so wonderful. I look forward to that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I see some people here who've been involved with my global ed conference, which is called Glow. And they've had a really good experience. We've been doing a version of Glow since 2010, and we do it during International Education Week. And have educators come from all over and present. And it's almost like that expression drinking from a fire hose or it's so much goodness at these kinds of events, so much material, so much to take in, um that it's a little bit of an overload for some people. So I really encourage people to take a break. Things will be recorded, you can come back and watch it. We'll put some stuff up on YouTube too, not everything probably because it's kind of laborious to do that. But this is kind of like a great opportunity to get a lot of professional development. And what makes this one different, it's interdisciplinary, is that there's going to be health people and there'll be education people and there'll be government and civic people involved. And anything that will help people become more empowered and more compassionate is welcome. This is not um, relegated to a really narrow view of anything. And so I'm really excited. I really would love to see a lot of nonprofits get involved to kind of showcase their work, because what I've experienced in the education world is there are people doing all sorts of great things all over the place, but teachers and school districts can't necessarily find them, right? And so it's word of mouth. And here it's the same kind of thing. Like if people want to get more involved and become more activist in this day and age, this might be a great opportunity for them to come and see what the possibilities are and then choose what works for them. I think that's half the battle in any field. So anybody else have questions?
Here comes Arun. Wow, what time is it in India?
It's like 4 in the morning.
Oh, okay, he's an early riser. Okay.
Well,
And
one friend in India was telling me that she gets up early to eat during Ramadan, like
mm,
early in the morning, because she has to eat before before
so
the sunrise. So she's up super early.
So as I look at the people that I know on this call, there's John Culkin, and John has this extraordinary exhibit on compassion in art that has been going around the world, and he has a wonderful book. Also, and I'm guessing that you might be wanting to share that information. I saw Sister Martha Ann Kirk, who's also in the arts, but
Yes.
and also a volunteer with us for Artistic Bridges, where we're trying to bring the artwork, the voices of young people from around the world to attention to one another. There are people here from compassionate communities.
Yeah.
What's happening in St. Augustine, Florida, that might be implemented in
It's the
another
Purple
place.
Bench Project. Tell
Uh,
people about the,
we have the Purple Bench Project there. We have the New Village Project that they're dealing with. Rune is in Pune in India. What's happening with Compassionate Pune? Food scarcity and issues of bringing food, organic food, to the marketplace. I mean, there's just so many wonderful things that are happening with people that I know. There's David Freiberg with his Kindness Project, and every May there's an incredible contest. I think it's in May, although we judge before that because we're involved in helping with the judging of these extraordinary photographs from around the world of people uh, really looking at compassion in a much different way. So,
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of presentations right here in front of me.
Yes. May I
yeah,
ask?
go ahead, Sister Martha.
Uh,
Yes.
I don't know where all of my friends are in Compassionate San Antonio. I thought there would be 5 other people here, but
I
since
think
they're
there's
not
at least
here,
one. Anne is here.
oh, okay, I didn't see her on the screen. So, we're going to do some sort of Compassionate San Antonio thing. We're going to do something together. But then my question is, I definitely want to share Artistic Bridges. Do you think strategy wise, we have like a San Antonio panel and Artistic Bridges is one thing in that?
Yeah.
Or should Artistic Bridges be a lightning talk? Or should I be a supporter? And I don't know. I welcome your suggestion.
Yeah, I think that you should present, I think you should do one about compassionate city work. And I think Marilyn, I think you should talk about that in a minute. And then another one, and do a general 50-minute session on that, on what your work is in the city as a whole with a panel. And then do another panel, maybe with some of the people who've been in part of Artistic Bridges, as a way of drumming up people to participate in that and get more interest in that. So I would,
I
you,
would
you can do
love it.
okay, you can do as many as you want. And if you want to
Right.
record it ahead of time, you can, so it's not so stressful. It's up to you. But Marilyn, can you talk to what, for the people who are new to the charter, what is a compassionate city and what do they do? Because I think that's a fascinating concept.
Okay. I think that a compassionate city, when Karen Armstrong was asked the question, and she was asked the question, I think, in around 2013, in a simulcast from Louisville, Kentucky. And someone said to her, what's a compassionate city? And she said that it is an uncomfortable city. It's a city that knows that there are neglecting things that are happening within the city, that education is not equal, that healthcare might not be available to everyone within the context of the city. If we were in Karachi, in Pakistan, the compassionate community in Karachi is working on empowering women to start their own businesses. They also have an education program that they started all the way back in 2010 to really help students understand the power of compassion and the necessity of collaboration, so that as they were being forced to make a choice in their education to drop out and go into areas of terrorism that was not going to be to anyone's health and well-being, that Karachi move forward to create this incredible education program. If I look at San Antonio, Texas, and one thing, Martha Ann, I would introduce you to the people in Handelsvorkenpassie in the Netherlands, because just about the same time that the people in San Antonio were acknowledging the Peace Prize that you were giving, the folks in the Netherlands were acknowledging outstanding people who were doing compassionate works. And so now this has become a national thing, not just a city thing, where the people of the Netherlands vote on a compassion category and then pick a person to give an award to. It would be interesting to have that kind of juxtaposition in a panel, so that, all, as we look at all of the various compassionate cities, we're looking at everything from an age-friendly city in London, Ontario, Canada, to a city that's really dedicated to trying to deal with houselessness for people in their community, and also cities that are really most concerned about having dialogue between groups of people. In Belfast, there are what are called coffee cafes, so that to bring people from all sides of Belfast together across the city lines to talk with one another. In Monterrey, not Monterrey, Mexico, in San Pedro, there's a group of women called the Godmothers, who started out with 4 or 5 people and now are like 800 people, where they're fixing houses in the community. So there's, we want to hear about these things from one another, not just from me, because it's really important, because you can an idea can be sparked right as you hear this, and it's a great opportunity for you to say, oh geez, how did you get that started, and can you help mentor us, or are you available to answer questions? So this is a great opportunity. David, I see your
Uh,
hand.
There's another question that was before that in the chat. So Mike, or Nick said, I've been developing a theory of kindness, pro-social behavior, and have come to view compassionate kindness as a primary mode of benevolence. I describe the other primary flavors as playful kindness and generative kindness. Are there other models out there that are more expansive?
Okay, I'm going to let David answer that because he's Mr. Kindness here.
Okay. All
And
right. So
then, and then David, besides
we'll tie them
answering the
together.
question, yeah, besides answering the question, then you can let us know why your hand was up.
Sure. Well, thanks for not putting me on the spot. Uh, yeah, but that probably be something to take offline, because I think psychologists start to look at different facets, particularly from a research end, and then it gets to a discussion of, okay, what is the question that's trying to be asked and answered, right? Is it an academic question or is it an applied question? So for that person, I'm happy to have a conversation to see if I can help.
So
Um,
you would put your email addresses in the chat, and so that you can have that exchange. I bet John Culkin would probably enjoy being a part of that conversation too. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. We're filled with medical doctors here today. Kind of interesting. Go for it, David.
so my question simply is, will you provide, so we submit a proposal, do you provide guidance? So you might
Yes.
look at it and say, I see what you're saying, but this is really, what would you think about doing it as you're asking for 15 minutes and we see it as a longer, or we see it as a workshop?
I'm not going to micromanage them too much. If I feel like something's completely out of bounds, it won't be accepted, but but we'll give people a chance to revise. Um, we want to be as accepting as possible. So as long as your proposal is relatively coherent and makes sense and seems to be, fitting our themes, you probably will be accepted and that sort of thing. And the other thing to add to this too is once you're accepted, you'll get a list of next steps. And one of those is going to be to come to a training session. So I will host live and recorded training sessions on how to use the platform and that sort of thing. So if you are nervous about any of that, we will hold your hand through it. And that, and what's really interesting about this, after doing this for years with people, it is an empowering thing. If you've never presented online before, which I think is a lot of people haven't still, even though we had all this Zoom stuff during the pandemic. Um, it's really an empowering process to go through this whole proposal and then training and then presenting. And it's really empowering to people. I think people have a new sense of confidence once they've gone through it. It's not torture, but it does take some time. And we're here to support you, and we'll have people live on the platform ready to help too on the day of the conference as well. I think that was
That,
a little bit more than you wanted, David, but
no, actually, so what I heard you say is that there is, it isn't submit and it's going to be accepted. There is at least there is some review
yes.
of the proposals and their assignments to how it works for your schedule. So you're looking more holistically at them. Or are
It,
you going to be grouping things together? So there
so
was there was a
you're
person earlier who was talking about healthcare, for
yeah.
example.
So you're going to pick a theme. So you'll be under it, um so you'll be loosely grouped that way. And then you'll pick 3 or 4 tags that apply um to your topic. And so in the schedule, people can filter according to those topics, to those keywords and those themes. And they can just like if they're looking for the word wellness, they can find all the sessions that are about wellness and go to it. We are not manually doing that. And we're not putting them in some particular place. You also will book your own session. So you'll get another form where you'll pick an available time from a menu, and that's convenient for you. So it's not like all the wellness ones are going to be, the first hour, and then all the education ones are going to be the second hour. It's going to be a smorgasbord across the board because we want to make it convenient for you to present when you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I appreciate your flexibility in trying to adapt and make it easy for, all the presenters. So yeah, that's wonderful.
Okay.
And is there, do you welcome just even queries of here's the topic, what do
Yeah,
what do
sure.
you
If
think
you want to,
versus
somebody just asked me if they could meet with me to run some topic ideas, and I'm happy to do that either by email or and I'll put my email in the chat, or we can meet. I can respond over email, or we can meet over Zoom, and I can give you feedback if you want. Or in Marilyn's pretty busy, so I wouldn't bother Marilyn with it, but if you drop into some of the things that she's hosting, like the healthcare chat or tomorrow's the education chat, she can also informally give feedback too, and those kinds of things that she's hosting.
Yeah.
sure. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's great. I hope you guys will all present. Hi, Marge, what's your question? How's Honduras
David,
today?
I just want to say one thing to David, and that is, whatever you do, I think you have to bring in one of your short videos because they are just so incredible. So that's just my little offering. But go ahead, March.
Quick question. What happens if nobody signs up for your session?
Yeah.
Does it still go on?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So nobody signs up for any session. They just show up if they're online. And hopefully they've looked at the schedule, and hopefully we've educated people about how everything works. If we have, in my global ed conference, we usually have 4 sessions an hour. So at least, and then we have the keynotes are usually have their own hour. Like there's no other presenters going on when keynotes are going on, so that everybody goes to that. If people don't show up, I tell people don't freak out, because it's going to be recorded and people are going to go back and look at the recordings. If we want people to show up, though, we collectively have to advertise this conference. We just don't have the money to pay for Facebook advertising and all that kind of stuff. So word of mouth is going to be really crucial. And I don't think I did it with this conference, but with my global one, I actually put something in the call for proposals asking people to agree to promote the conference. We do have a social media toolkit with some images and suggested tweets and things like that, so you can copy and paste. We also have a digital flyer that you can share with other people. But really, the best word of mouth is the best way is word of mouth is personally inviting people. And Marilyn has been really good at this. She's been personally reaching out to people that she knows and saying, hey, you really should be a part of this. So if everybody could do that, we could get this conference filled up easily. We can have up to 1,000 attendees. After that, we get charged more. But we could have like 2,000 registrants, and if only 1,000 showed up, we'd be fine. And typically that's what I see with these conferences, is that about half of the people who register actually show up. And there are things that we can do to bug people to make them show up. Like we can pester them with emails. But generally that's what I've seen. In my global conference, since I started using Ring Central, I had 1,100 people the first year, 900 the second year, and about 800 the third year. It is hard to get people to participate on things online post-COVID, but I think this is the way of the world. I mean, we're not traveling and impacting the environment by traveling, so that's one plus. It's not the same as meeting face to face, but it's close. It's better than nothing, right? And it depends on how people engage online too. I think that affects the quality of experience. And I just think that this is the way we have to work, and particularly when we don't have the traditional structures necessarily supporting the kind of work that we're all doing. We have to make it happen at a grassroots level using the tools that we have, right?
I'm just noticing the time, Lucy, and during your slide presentation, you said, we'll go back to that.
Oh, yeah.
We have only 3 minutes, so I don't know if you can do
Okay,
that.
I'll show you this. This is the crazy thing that I came up with today. Let's see if I can find it. So in the slides, if we go back, and I'll put the link in, I made these crazy bots. So here, this is, there's Carmen, Compassion, and I don't know who, but oh, maybe this isn't the right link. Where'd it go? I don't see the link working. Let me hang on 2 seconds here. I'll go right to it because I have it somewhere. So there are two different artificial intelligence bots. They're fake people that are trained um, on our information that will answer questions and guide you through the process. And this is the first one. So you'll see a page like this, and you can either call Clara Compassion or you can chat with her. And so if you call her, you click on this button and then talk to Clara. And you have to allow your microphone.
Hi there. I'm Clara Compassion, your AI agent for conference proposals. What do you need help with today?
What's the deadline for the conference proposals?
The proposal deadline for the conference is April 15th, 2025. Presentations must be submitted by May 1st, 2025.
Anyway, so I'm going to end the call, or you could do it through chat, and you can ask her a question, and she's been trained on come back, Carla or Carmen or whatever your name is.
Carmen.
She's been trained on, this is the other one. This is the one that will help with sponsorship. They've been trained on our documentation, which means that we've uploaded our documentation to this service, and they pull their information from there. I also have put the charter's website in there too, so she can grab stuff from there as well. So here is, when is the deadline for sponsorship, which I don't think I've made. So she may not have the answer. We'll see what happens. So she's thinking that the deadline for proposals is also the deadline for sponsors, which is not true. So I need to go in and tell her that. But anyway, she makes corrections based on feedback I give her. And she literally will take you through the form, I believe, and have you fill it out in the chat as opposed to going to the form for these things. So if you're, if you can try it and see if you like it. If you don't, you can always, close the window. But it was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And so I thought I'd try it for this and see if it gave people some other choice with it. The other thing I will tell you too is in the call for proposals form itself, there is a pull down menu in the upper right hand corner for different languages. So I'm not sure if it will translate everything, but it will translate, the body of a lot of it into just about every language that's out there. And so if there are people that want to present in another language, that's totally fine. We just don't have any translation services for the actual platform. That those services are crazy expensive. And, as this is the first year that we're doing it, we just don't have the funds for that right now.
Well, Lucy,
Okay.
we have exceeded the amount of time we have. So I think if there's nothing pressing other than to say thank you all, and let us know if you have any questions. If the bot explodes on you and you don't get what you need, then come to a real person. We're there to help. And also to give ideas. Martha Ann, I am serious about this possibility of the Netherlands and San Antonio doing a joint presentation. And I'm willing to explore other ideas like that with people too, just because it could be a lot of fun and introduce new friends to one another.
Yeah.
So
And it's
thank
a little easier to if you have a group, you're kind of shifting the onus on everybody, not just you.
Okay, everyone. Have a good night. Bye, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming.
everybody.